Welcome to the Feel Better, Live Better podcast. Our goal is to provide you insightful conversations about all things health and wellness. We dive into the stories, science, strategies that help you optimize your well-being, physically, mental, and emotional health. Each episode features engaging discussions with health experts, real-life success stories, and practical advice to empower you on your wellness journey. Whether we're breaking down the latest medical advancements, exploring holistic health solutions, or chatting about everyday habits that make a difference, our goal is simple: to help you feel better and live better. Tune in for inspiring narratives, expert consultations, candid conversations that bring health to life, one talk at a time.
If you enjoy our podcast, please like and subscribe and consider becoming a digital subscriber to the Albuquerque Journal to help us bring you more content like this. You can find this episode and all of our podcasts on the Albuquerque Journal website, abqjournal.com, as well as YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify. See the show notes for a discount code on a digital subscription. Thank you for supporting the Albuquerque Journal, New Mexico's leading news.
Welcome back to the Feel Better, Live Better podcast. I am your host, Kristy Fury, and today we're diving into a topic I see every single week in clinical practice. Many people come into my office frustrated because they're exercising more than ever, eating less than ever, and somehow feeling worse. They're exhausted, hormones are crashing, sleep is poor, injuries are piling up, and the scale isn't moving. Today we're discussing the dangerous cycle of being underfed, overtrained, and under-recovered. Joining me is Veronica Castillo from Athlete Ready. Veronica is a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and a strength coach who specializes in helping athletes and active individuals optimize performance and health. Let's get started.
Beyond Health is dedicated to helping patients achieve a life of health. Our passion at Beyond Health is transforming your health so you can live the very best life. Beyond Health can be your partner in your journey to optimal health.
Welcome back, Veronica. It's always such a pleasure to have you here on the podcast. And today, I know we're both very passionate about what we're talking about. And I'm just so excited to bring in, your professional and expertise insight into this conversation. What I really want to address is this overtrained, overfed, under-recovered state that I think you're seeing it in all decades of life, from, the young athlete, teenager, club sporter, to all the way up to your 50s, 60s, and 70s, especially now with the GLP-1 being so popular, which I know you and I are definitely supporters. You and I have seen so many truly miracles in so many of our clients and patients' lives. But if not done right, they kind of create some of this underfed, overtrained, under-recovered state. So I just want to zoom out from a longevity standpoint and really kind of look past at it in the sense of that pushing harder. If we're pushing harder but not recovering, what we're creating as far as a system that's not adaptive, not recovered, and can't be sustained over time.
All of those things are incredibly true. Whenever we talk about youth athletes, especially, we see it's just a much more competitive ecosystem. Whenever we were kids, it's show up, play, I don't know, maybe have some Lay's potato chips and, I don't know, share a water from whatever our mom had. But now it's our kids are on supplements and I meal plan and bulk prep for my kid and plan his recovery and, all of these things because it is a much more competitive landscape. But if we're seeing that in, athlete land, what are we seeing for adults? And what are we also seeing for kids? Maybe they aren't competitive athletes. We still have to call attention to that. We have to look at the food industry and what it's placing in front of our eyes and for consumers. And a lot of things, I like to think that we are moving more towards drink your water and let's get away from this and that. But it's still there. If you walk into a grocery store, everything is neon colored, and I hate to, won't name names.
Yeah.
But a lot of these big brands, they're getting smart. They're getting smart to, I think we were talking about it, that there was a soda brand that they have a prebiotic soda, a cola, and it's still a full sugar soda. It still has the colors in it, but they're smart. They see what direction people are moving in, and it's like, okay, we have to appeal to this. We have to try and get ahead of it. But then whenever we look at the effects that GLPs are having on, people that sit at desks that aren't very active, then we're under eating. We're not getting enough fiber, definitely not getting enough protein, definitely not hydrating. People weren't drinking water to begin with. So GLPs, we've seen some life-changing cases, but we've also seen definitely too many poorly managed cases. So
Yeah. Well, and I think that's one reason why, Athlete Ready, you representing that as a nutritionist, dietitian, along with Beyond Health, why we work so well together, because we're truly trying to create that ecosystem. But let's dive in. You did a fabulous post that I've actually shared with my daughter, and I think I gave it to Barry and a couple of other people, as far as making sure your teenager son is so that he's not starting an underfed state as an athlete. So I know for you that was probably, like you said, it was very simple, but it was very impactful of what that food should look like, and also how easy you can make it. I think that was my point, showing it to my daughter as a teenager, is we can make this very easy for you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. Well, whenever you look at the socials, we are hit with a lot of try this high protein recipes. I love recipes. I think they're fun. They're exciting. It's a nice change up. But I'm cooking for 5 humans. And, my 15-year-old, he eats a lot because he's training, SNC 3 days a week. He works with a private skills coach. He helps with our soccer program. He goes to yoga with my husband. And then whatever other things that we decide, hey, this would be fun. So, and then at that age range, he's puberty, he is running like a furnace, a pellet stove. So, but what is most common that we hear from teenagers? Oh, I'm just not hungry in the morning. They won't eat breakfast for whatever reason. And it wasn't until he expressed some interest to me that how much protein should I have? In that moment, oh my gosh, that moment in my life, my parenting life, I was like, is he really asking me this?
Yes.
Oh gosh, so I ran with it. I was like, well, let's start logging your food and see what your actual numbers are. But, it's just kind of keeping it simple. We don't keep it simple. We overcomplicate everything, just like the over-optimizers. What can I add? What can I add? What are you doing? Yeah.
Well, and I think the body doesn't interpret underfueling, underfeeding as leaning out, right? From a cellular perspective, it actually interprets it as a threat.
Yes.
And I think trying to explain that to our patients, to our clients, that are on GLP-1s and are not. I mean, I don't want to make this a GLP-1 episode. Because they're phenomenal. But I mean, as you and I they've got to be managed right, and then being educated right. But everybody, especially females, are like, oh, I'm going to eat, freaking 500 calories or whatever whatever the famous, the social media buzz is right now to lean out. But it's what it's doing is, just within weeks or a couple of months, the threat that body, it's a threat to the body. And then you actually see these women kind of get softer.
Yes.
And males too. I mean, you and I see it every day, all day long.
Well, I feel like we see it, depending on what the individual's starting mass is. That's whenever we really see it. I know that you and we are always, till we're blue in the face, it's like you have to hit your protein, you have to hydrate, you have to get your dietary fiber. But without the education piece, because people don't know what that means. The fiber. So should I start on some, the fiber powders? It's like, well, no, just
eat fruits, vegetables.
have an apple, man. Some mobile fruit.
Yeah.
But then another part of like getting your protein, people won't seek out the simple stuff. Kind of like my post was, I will do 6 pounds of chicken on the grill. It's not crazy exciting, but it's simple. It's to the point. It's there and it's ready. It's accessible. But again, this is us overcomplicating things. In our food market, there's been this whole, our head coach, Rob, he posted about it. It's called proteinification, where everything has protein powders, protein candy bars, protein water, protein. And these things can be tools.
Protein donuts.
Yes, protein donuts. Yes. Yeah, no, that's what Leonard had mentioned.
I was all like,
oh my goodness.
gosh.
But,
Sorry.
But no, really, it's protein
it's
everything. And I use some of these things. Like, it's about fitting in the puzzle pieces. You don't have to be meat-centric in order to hit your protein target. But you also don't want to be having 10 protein shakes a day either. We want to maximize whole foods. But again, going back to responsibly managed GLPs, if more than 50% of your appetite has been diminished, you're not going to be eating something at volume. You're going to, whenever you eat, you need to make it count. Unfortunately, that isn't the case. All I could get was like 3 bites of a slice of pizza.
No, for sure. For sure. So let's pivot a little bit and talk about, the power of strength training, but then also talk about this overtraining. As you and I, more training is not better training. And I think, I know I'm older than you, but I see this myself, like getting closer to menopause, as I can't train, and I don't need to train as hard as I used to. Like, I think, you're my trainer, you make my program. You know this. I'm not telling you, but I think I've become a better provider in that aspect for women that are entering kind of menopause, that you can't train like you did in your young 40s or 30s. It's that strength component needs to change. Because strength training is one of our most powerful longevity tools we have. And, I talk to patient about how it, improves that insulin sensitivity, which decreases cancer risk and, cognitive decline. And, it preserves that lean muscle mass that we all want. And then just how it supports our mitochondria. It's the powerhouse of the cell as far as energy. And then, they're coming to us for hormone optimization, but yet, and again, like just focusing on females right now, they've got to have a strength program with that, or they'll never see the full circle of impacts of the hormones that, they are receiving as far as the bioidentical. So touch on that. I know but touch on that as from a, the importance of not overtraining, and then how we need to train for just longevity health.
Yeah. Oh, totally. There's, longevity health, which is not as crazy, intense, again, overcomplicated as we make everything to be. I was just talking to John about this morning, because whenever I met my husband, it was a non-negotiable 6 days a week in the gym, 1.5 to 2 hours, and we only take Sundays off. And it was fun. It was great bonding. We only had one kid. We were building our businesses. It was just so much more feasible. But also, we were in our 20s. So we just somehow made it happen. And with the meal prepping, with everything. Nowadays, John talking about his fitness tracker, it says to rest for 72 hours. What? And we do put a little too much weight into our fitness trackers sometimes. That whole phenomenon, we have to exercise some self-awareness.
It's just a habit,
But whenever we're looking at the overtraining, a lot of that is also, people going from no training, maybe because they're experiencing some hormonal decline. And that usually comes in the form of, well, I used to be able to insert something from their 20s, but you're not in your 20s anymore. That psychologically is probably the most difficult barrier to breach for people. Before we even touch on what's your current nutrition, what's this? It's like, well, whenever I was 23, look at this picture of me. It's like, it's not that I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm great that at one point in time your body was capable of doing that. But here we are, here and now. We have to start you from where you are here and now. And then we can scaffold, and who knows, maybe we can get back to, abs.
Yeah.
But you might find that you feel better without it. Yeah. You might find that you feel better not being 120 pounds. You might feel better at 150.
Yeah.
But they want to get from 0 to 5 days a week of strength training, Pilates, 1 day of yoga, and eating 5 meals a day. But if we really take a step back and zoom out, it really is, let's start with 1 to 2 days. Yeah. 1 to 2 days, that moves the needle as long as you're consistent. That's going to do so much more for you 2 days a week over the course of an entire year, as opposed to 5 days hitting it hard, meal prepping. I lost 30 pounds in 6 weeks, and then you fell off.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it worked so well that you're going to have to do it all over again. Yeah. Why don't we educate people in a way where it's like, if you have more muscle mass, that is your biggest currency in the longevity game. And living better, your brain health, just being able to metabolize calories and nutrients. We just run hotter again, pellet stoves. So, and then whenever we look at something that is all too looming for us is insulin resistance. I was just talking to one of our people yesterday about that. It's like, okay, if we have some insulin resistance, what's going to help us? A GLP. It's like, okay. That's a tool, but you are capable of, hey, let's do some strength training. Yeah. And what substrate is going to help us in gaining muscle? Yeah. Protein. It's a pretty simple formula.
Oh, it really is.
But
so do you think that 1 to 2 days, so someone, well, let's talk, the people that sit at desk, because for me, that is something, those patients, trying to have them understand that, especially are on GLP-1s, doing well and doing their part. But yet they have a job that they sit at their desk. Attorneys, because I just had to deal
banks.
with banker. Yeah. Office. So do you think that correlation of 1 to 2 days of strength training is the same for them versus someone that's a little bit more active, just moving around active, like our jobs?
Yeah, just higher activity level in general. Yeah, the activity factor plays an incredibly huge role, because with the sitters, I'll encourage 1 to 2 days of weight training. But if you're averaging 3,000 steps a day, I'm going to encourage you, 1 week, let's shoot for 4,000. Following week, let's shoot for 5,000. Because that is going to be huge. And because for people like us that we're getting, 8,000, 10,000 steps a day, just running around, and 2 days a week of strength training, that's just what our body is used to, that higher activity level. Yeah. So, getting like that third day in, after you have people conditioned and consistent in that 2 days, that third day is where you really see them cross that threshold. Yep. They start seeing it physically. They start feeling it in their strength gains, their ability to move, recover, but also their sleep. Yep. Something on the GLP thing is that some of our people that aren't really moving as much as they should, they're not eating as much as they should. What's that going to do to their insulin? What is that going to do to our cortisol? And then we see people waking up in the middle of the night, wide awake, 2, 3 a.m.
Tired but wired.
Yes. So we have to change the composition.
Yep. Do you think it's the same for males and females? So let's talk decades. So you're 40 and 50-year-old, because andropause, menopause, we're both male and females are going through it, right? Do you think that strength, it needs to be more for females, or is it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. Okay. Yeah. With women, these bodies of ours, they're so complicated, right? But our hormonal decline, it's not doing us any favors whenever it comes to our bone
Especially
density.
during that age. Yeah.
Goodness me. And so aside from hormone optimization and the habits and the things that we can control, we can gain some muscle, but we can't gain muscle without the substrate, protein. We can't recover adequately, or even like from the cellular standpoint, if it's not hydrated, it's not going to be able to work as efficiently. And then there's the anabolic resistance, which is just something that happens as we age. That isn't a condition, that is just living life as a human, where we can pull in protein, but we just can't use it the way that we once did. And so with women, there is a higher demand for protein as we age, just because we aren't able to, utilize it as efficiently.
Yep. Yeah, no, I think that's such a hard thing to get across for patients that, your demand, especially for females, and then, just dealing with our parents right now. That, mine are in their 70s, yours are in the 60s, right?
Yeah,
yours
are. They're about to cross over.
Just trying to explain that, their protein demand is higher now.
Yeah, critical.
Yeah,
truly critical. And perhaps I get a little too impassioned at times. Like, I don't think you realize how serious this is.
Yeah.
But it is.
Well, and then it's these patients that just, I'm so tired. And you ask them about their protein. Well, and I was like, so you're willing to spend all this money on, ketones, peptides. Like, we're never like, would love for you to try it. But I also want results myself as a provider.
Yes.
And I know that I can throw the best peptide stack at you and supplement regimen, but if you're not doing those simple things of protein, resistance training, water, and fiber, you're wasting your money.
Yeah. All of those tools between hormones and peptides and supplements, they can only be as successful as, the environment that they reside. But if it's, I have some bad dirt and I go throw some plants in there, they might do well. They might do good enough, but I bet they aren't thriving. I bet there's a lot of, stress that they're going through. Same thing with our bodies.
Yeah.
So.
So since we've talked about the importance of training and strength training specifically as we age, because, like I said, muscle is our biggest wealth. How many times do you and I say that every day, all day long? You cannot truly have lasting health if you don't have more muscle than fat. But then let's flip it on that other side. And I think just, again, I'm in this phase. I'm talking to myself right now as far as, my recovery. I've had to change my recovery aspect, right? And so that under-recovered. So how do you approach a client trying to stress to them the importance of strength training? But yet we're like, but make sure you recover, because so many people's idea of recovery is, okay, well, I'm just going to set again.
Yeah.
Which, as you and I both know. So let's talk about that recovery, because it has to be that, again, that ecosystem, the feeding, the fueling, the strength training, the recovery.
Yeah. Recovery is, it's a pretty broad term. Most people, I was just talking to my kid about this yesterday. He's like, well, I took 2 weeks off and I still don't feel recovered. It's like, buddy, just hanging out at home isn't the same as recovering. Like, are we going through your breathing protocols? Are you doing your mobility stuff? We do not downregulate enough. Yeah. Most people don't even know what downregulating means. And whenever they think of meditation or breath work, they think of some guy in, a loincloth doing some weird dances in the jungle. But it's like, no, we don't have to be super granola to do these things. No. This is what our society is greatly lacking. There have been numerous studies about I think schools, elementary schools, high schools adopting yoga programs to help bring down kids, and not bring down as in hit rock bottom, but hey, let's be here. Let's be here now. Be with yourself. Yeah. Because the most difficult person to be with is this person. And we are not taught that. We don't teach people that. And it's really daunting for individuals to really take a look at themselves and what they're doing.
Yeah.
We don't zoom out.
Yeah.
We look at everything we're doing, but more than anything, we look at everything we're not doing. And it's like, oh, I could be doing more. And then so it piles and piles and piles.
Yeah.
And we don't recover.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like yesterday, one of the patients I referred to you, I mean, I taught her probably box breathing in the room, and all she needed was just that central nervous system down regulation. I mean, yes, does she have things that you need to help her with? 100%. But
Yeah.
as far as like, I knew I wasn't going to get anywhere with what I could do as far as with hormones and peptides until I got this woman just to down regulate
like,
on a.
let's sit here
Let's
for
just
a
sit
second.
here. And
Yeah.
she was like,
Let's take 2 minutes.
and she's like, oh, and it, you know, and what I thought was so amazing with that is, you know, and I told her like, look, I struggle with this. I do my box breathing when I'm driving, and then I intentionally try to find some periods throughout the clinic day to do it, just even at my desk. But I think it was like it worked perfectly. Like, I mean, I couldn't have asked for, because the conversation completely flipped when her and I actually did some box breathing exercises together in that room. Like, I was actually able to talk to her, because like I was starting to get that heightened, because I was getting frustrated, because I'm like, look, lady, do you not see what's happening here? Like, I don't know how much more I could explain your labs, your embody.
I don't like the answers.
But you know, like honestly, it was, I don't think it's ever worked that perfectly. And I was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
Like,
We're doing this, everyone.
Yeah. And it was just like, I actually, like, you know, I don't think she walked out frustrated. I didn't walk out frustrated. And I felt like, okay, I was starting to actually make some impact, and hopefully she's going to follow up with you, and there'll be more of an impact. But yeah, it's just, the simple stuff. And then I think let's go touch back, just because I know you and I think probably so many of the listeners, we're in this youth sport freaking
Professional chauffeurs after work.
You know, this, you know, just, I mean, multi-billion-dollar industry of this pay-to-play sports. That the majority of these kids, you know, other than, you know, I think for my daughter, she's developed leadership skills. I mean, she's not, I mean, it's not that she hasn't, but I mean, she's not going on to be a professional athlete. But talk to them. So how do you approach, especially like at Athlete Ready? I know you guys really focus on the youth sports and do a phenomenal job, but how do you talk to those youth athletes? And then how do you talk to the parents about what is recovery?
Yeah. Well, our model is, you know, training, nutrition, recovery. And we start all of our sessions with some sort of recovery, some sort of nervous system regulation and preparation. It could be breathing. It could be upregulation breathing, because they're about to train. Sometimes if they come in straight after school, you see that someone's pretty frazzled, and you need to bring them back to reality. Sometimes, you know, neuro prep, it can look like playing a game, you know, playing tag, playing frisbee, doing those kinds of things, because that redirects our focus back to here I am now. And also it's like pretty quick. So whether I hope they are digesting it and taking it in, but they see the structure of everything we're doing. It always starts with some sort of regulation. We go through the training session, and then we always down-regulate for recovery. And we use so many different modalities. It could be with, you know, movement. It could be with breathing. It could be, again, going into like a brain game of some sort with lights, with the slap game where you like pull your hands. There's all of these things are tools. And they are kind of tools that we've grown up with, but just did not really see the value of them. So it is, I mean, an integral piece of our model. And, you know, and our coaches do a phenomenal job in educating. It's always with, you know, a debrief, pre-post session. But yeah, and then with the parents, that's the hardest one.
That's the hardest one.
Yeah, working with kids, it's It's not always the kids, it's the
Well,
parents.
the kids are the sponges.
Yes, yeah. Well, and look at the time that we grew up in. It's more is more. No pain, no gain.
Yeah.
So, of course, naturally, sometimes that gets projected onto the kids. Like, you're not pushing hard enough. It's like, oh, this is how injury happens. This is how burnout happens. You know, multi-sport athletes, we're seeing that multi-sport athletes, they have a lower injury occurrence. They have a lower burnout rate. They're just happy. And they enjoy their sport, their main sport. At the end of the day, we have to pay attention to, it still needs to be fun. It has to be fun. It has to be enjoyable. And if it's not, then we've really lost sight of the point of everything. Yeah.
Well, and it has to be fun for the adults. So, you know, moving back, you know, getting out of the youth athlete to just people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And, you know, you don't have to spend hours at the gym. Like I was, like, I guess you and I used to do the same thing. I mean, it was like, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours at the gym was normal, but you know, in your 20s and you had more time, you had more energy, you know, you didn't, I mean,
more is more.
More is more, right? And, you know, now, I mean, you know, our workouts are, you know, 30, 45 minutes after, again, the warm up and the down regulation. But as far as for the parents, how do you approach that conversation as far as trying, like, it can be simply just going for a walk with a weighted vest or, you know, getting up. And now the mornings are a lot cooler than the evenings here. But like, how do you help them as far as just their day-to-day
dealing with life? Yeah. I mean, gosh, it's, you know, those post-dinner walks, the digestive walks, that's just
good,
physiologically healthy. That's just a healthy habit. But let's say that it's 100 degrees outside and it's 8 p.m. Probably not going to do that. It could be something like a meditation app. You don't need 30 minutes of meditating. You need 1 to 2 minutes. That is enough to come back to yourself and feel almost like the buzz from it. And then recovery, it doesn't always look like activity. Sometimes it is going in, getting a massage. That's a passive therapy. Let someone else do it. But it's taking time to be slow, you know, have a hobby that helps stimulate your brain, but doesn't stress it out and just pile on top of your already present oxidative stress. Because then we're just stressing out that autonomic nervous system even more. And then when do we see that? We see it on labs. We see it in, you know, like this person is just standing still. What's not changing?
Well, and I know not everybody has access or has but as you, I mean, I love our sauna, our dry sauna, and then my husband's better with the cold plunge than I am. But I can tell you the weeks that I get at least 3 or 4 sauna sessions in the evenings, I mean, I notice a difference. And so just, you know, encouraging people, there's more and more cold plunge sauna places that, you know, they can go buy a membership to, or using it as a longevity tool to invest in yourself for your home. I mean, you and I both have it all. I mean, you know, we both have
all
a sauna,
tools.
we both have a cold plunge, and it wasn't a huge investment. I mean, you can get pricey if you want to, but you can, I mean, Costco, Sam's, they have this stuff that you can set it up pretty minimal.
Well, and even
as far as a cost.
Yeah, definitely. And if that's just not some people's flavor, honestly, take a hot shower. Take a hot shower. Breathe in the shower. That's accessible. You're going to be doing it anyway. It gives you 2 minutes to just be still and focus on not everything else. There's always so much noise. But with saunas, you can get like one of those zip-up saunas that you stick one of these chairs in. It doesn't have to be fancy. It gets the job done.
It gets. I had my head out. It was. I think I paid maybe $300. I mean, it was reasonable, and I had it for years, and now my nephews are using it.
So.
Okay. Well, this has been fabulous, and I think, you know, from my standpoint, is, you know, I just as you, we're making this longevity optimization stuff too complicated, and I think, you know, just even as practitioners in this space, there's times that I myself like, oh, I can use this peptide and this supplement, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of forgot to go back and say, but do I have these basics in place for you?
Yeah.
And
How am I eating?
Yeah, how am I eating? But, I think that's just as far as for a true longevity performance kind of protocol. I mean, it's strength training, right? Fueling, making sure you're not in an underfed state. And then the recovery. I mean, I don't know if you want to add anything, but like it literally can be that simple. And you can move the dial quite a ways with just those simple things. Mm-hmm. And then seek a place like Beyond Health as far as if you're wanting peptides, some help with optimization as far as with supplements. But I don't know if you have anything else to add to that. I try to keep it basic.
Yeah. Well, it is basic. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. It's, kind of the whole theme of this is we overcomplicate things. Yeah. The base, the foundation is you do your part, do it to the best of your ability. Don't try to make your life adapt to food. Make it so that the food adapts to your life. Yeah. Don't get too complicated with supplements and this and that. And don't take advice from social media or your brother's friend's sister's cousin who lost 90 pounds on keto. Yeah. I mean, whatever it is. Yeah. It's focus on you. The comparison game is really what kills us. Yeah. And it is as easy as moving, strength training, hydrating. Your nutrition, like get your protein, your fiber in, and then recovering, whatever that looks like. Yeah. The beautiful thing with recovery, there is so much that we can do at our disposal that we don't even have to pay for.
Sure. That's free. Yep. Well, and longevity is built off of consistency. It's not built off of extremes.
Yes.
And that's something that I try to really make sure the patients that come see us at Beyond Health, like we're not trying to do anything extreme here. I'm not going to flood your system with NAD or not to say that, NAD is not appropriate at times, but that's not the goal. Like I'm not going to do this massive IV infusion to do this extreme and where you're like, I don't even know what's working at that point in time.
You're done.
You're done. Yeah. Like, okay, you feel good, right? But it's just when you get down to it, I mean, it's just, consistency in life, consistency in health. And that's where true health span longevity is built.
Yeah. That's where it lives.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, thanks again, Veronica. As always, it's such a pleasure. I so enjoy, just working with you. I'm blessed beyond our understanding that we have access to you. And I know when we refer patients to you, they're going to be getting real information and the right information. And so, I know I've had, and I think, we both have story after story of the patients that, Beyond Health has taken care of, plus the patients that you have taken care of, and how they truly are living their best life.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.